Okay, so today we're going to go over digital marketing and how you can use digital marketing within your real estate business for specifically motivated seller leads or seller leads in your business. Before we get there, we're going to talk about some tools that you need. You are going to need two versions or two aspects of tools. You are going to need Facebook tools, so you need some specific tools directly within Facebook, and you also need some external tools. So tools outside of Facebook is what you're going to need too. And uh, so I like to label them as assets. And some of the assets that you're going to need to run a successful real estate business are these here listed. So we have the non Facebook assets. These are essential assets to running Facebook marketing, digital marketing through Facebook. And the first asset that you have here, you see I have listed. If we're in business, I understand and I know that there is a way that you can do business without a website. I completely understand it. However, if you're going to be serious about your business, please establish a website. And in this slide, I'll include a link to how you can get access to these slides in the description. But I want to tell you, these are two links that I have here, and I have experience with several different websites. There are literally hundreds of websites out there, hundreds of websites available. These are links, and these are the two websites that I recommend for real estate investors and real estate agents. So this goes either way for real estate investors and real estate agents. If you go and you try to piecemeal it out, find your own website here, your own CRM there, establish the best website, IDX feeds. If you go out and try to find and establish all of that stuff, it's going to give you a headache. So I highly recommend that if you are interested in a website, establishing a website, you don't have one already, that you use one of these resource links here. Oops, let's go back. So next I want to talk about like the reason why you need a website is because you need to establish a privacy policy. And in order to run advertising and marketing on these platforms, we're talking about Facebook specifically today, is you need to establish a privacy policy. You need to let the platform know, in this case Facebook, you need to let Facebook know what it is that you're going to do with your customer or your prospects information. So that is highly important with marketing and Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. They want to know what your privacy policy is. So how are you using these customers' information? How are you planning on using the data? So it's highly important that you have a privacy policy. If you use one of those below those links above to those websites, they give you a basic privacy policy. They give you what you need to establish a privacy policy and helps you understand what you're going to use that customer's data and information for. So they give you templates and your privacy policy comes embedded. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a marketing budget. So I understand a lot of people get involved in real estate and they're like, oh, it's no money down. They're going to do uh, establish their business without doing any type of advertising. They're going to do all word of mouth or all referrals. I'm going to tell you here is, in my experience, in order to run a successful, predictable, established business, you need to run marketing. And something very specific that you need within marketing is you need a budget. So you need a active budget of what how much money you're going to send out to generate these leads so you can close deals. And you can have a daily budget, you can have a monthly budget, or you can have a lifetime budget. The budget can be the lifetime of the campaign. It does not matter, but you need to make sure that you establish a budget. This is one of the biggest issues that I see people make. They go out and they might throw some money at the wall for 1 month and then they'll say it does not work. It's a business. You need a marketing budget. If you check any successful business, the successful businesses, they have marketing budgets. They have budgets where they understand that, hey, I'm not always going to get a return, but I need to put my brand out there. Hey, I'm not always going to get a lead, but I need to get marketing out there so I can generate some business and get people interested in my product or service. So next I want to talk about the Facebook assets. This is where I want you to pay attention here because people make this mistake as well. They get right into Facebook and they go making posts and they don't set up their assets correctly. You need to set up your assets correctly, and these are some of the essential assets that you need to establish within Facebook. Starting with the first one here, you have the Facebook Business Manager, and these again, these are all links that you can click on so you can get right to it. I understand that Facebook can be a little bit complicated and things can be confusing, so these are the essential assets that you need in this slide, there are links to each asset. So if you were to click on the first one, it would take you over to the Facebook Business Manager. Nonetheless, the first asset that you're going to want to establish is the Facebook Business Manager. The Facebook Business Manager is what it sounds like. It establishes your business on Facebook and it manages your business on Facebook. So if you're running business on Facebook, you need to have that Facebook Business Manager established so you can run your business. Next, I want to talk about the Facebook business page. So often when we start our marketing, we start with the Facebook business page, and there's nothing wrong with that. We are going to need a Facebook business page, but this is where we mess up the most because we establish that page because Facebook is encouraging us to establish that page with it with their messaging. However, they don't encourage us to do the other things around building this Facebook page. So in my experience, I see most people they get into Facebook, they establish that business page, and then they don't do anything else. They might tinker around or try to play around with some of these other things, but they don't establish them correctly. And then they'll say, hey, this stuff doesn't work. You have to set it up correctly. It is vital that you set these things up correctly. And setting up your page, setting up your business manager, they are vital to your success with Facebook marketing. Next thing I want to talk about is the ad manager. The ad manager is where you establish the where you're going to do you should probably do most of your work in the ad manager, and it's again it's what it sounds like. You manage and establish your ads within the Facebook ad manager. So if you were to click on this link, it would take you right where you need to go to establish your Facebook ad manager. That's where you're going to create all of your campaigns, all of your marketing. You're going to create audiences and just about anything you need surrounding Facebook marketing, you're going to establish in that Facebook ads manager. Now next is the Facebook pixel, and this is a in a way it's a hybrid of a Facebook asset as well as an external asset. And when I say it's an external asset is because Facebook gives you a code. The Facebook pixel is a tracking code that you need to establish and put on your website. Once you put it on your website, your pixel and Facebook they feed each other information. And one of the most powerful things about the Facebook pixel is that it will track your customer across the internet when they visit certain sites. Okay. So it's essential. The Facebook Pixel, it doesn't cost anything to install. It's essential that one of the first things you do is establish your Facebook Pixel. Even if you have no intention on using it, you want to install your Facebook Pixel. However, we as real estate professionals here, we're running the business and we have every intent on using that Facebook Pixel. We're going to talk about that a little bit further when we get to the appropriate slide. So we talked about a website, and I just want to bring something up, and I want to help you understand as business owners the most important thing, one of the most vital things about social media. And social media is a the best way to put it is social media is social. So you see here, I have a few bullet points, and we're just going to read through those bullet points so I can emphasize the message that I want to emphasize. This is social media, so it's social. You have to, you need to be human. There's a connecting factor, and that's what helps separate you. So let's read through the slides. It's social media. Remember, you are a person. Be human. Be social. People want to work with people, so that don't hide behind your logo, don't hide behind your business, and don't try to seem like some big company that's doing amazing things. Be authentic, be you, be a human. And the last thing I want to talk about, you can see it's titled The Most Important Page. And this touches on and this emphasizes the importance of social media. Your your most important page on your website is the About Me and the About Us page. That is the most visited page on our real estate websites. People go and they visit that page more than any other page on our website because they want to understand and know who they are working with. Who are you? What do you look like? How did your company get established? So it's highly important that you establish your About Me and About Us page. And that's also it also reiterates our point earlier about having a website. So if you have a website, you can establish this About Me and About Us page. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Facebook, the campaign. We're going to talk about the objectives. And I just want to show you, like most of us, when we get into Facebook, we get into Facebook marketing, we go through that thing that I mentioned earlier, where we establish our page almost immediately, and then we just go out and start blasting our messages, right? However, when you get into, we talked about this earlier, the Facebook Advanced Ad Manager, that opens up a different world for you, and it's more advanced, and your advertising should be more successful because you get more objectives and you get different agendas within the Facebook Advanced Ad Manager. On the right of the screen, you see, right? You see this is an interface for when you get into the advanced ad manager within Facebook. And there are 11 objectives here. And the best way I like to explain these objectives is I like to break it down into traffic temperatures. So when you go and you're doing Facebook and you just go boost and post or whatever it is that Facebook is encouraging you to do, and you're doing without like necessarily a strategy, you're eliminating yourself from some of these possibilities here. And let's break it down into the traffic temperature. So we're going to go down to point two, talk about the traffic temperatures, and then we're going to talk about the importance and the relevance of each temperature. So there are 11 objectives in total, and there are three different temperatures in total. So here Facebook has it labeled a little bit differently. They have it labeled as awareness, which you see here. They have in the middle is consideration, and then they have conversion. The best way to put it is awareness is you're trying to make someone aware of your product, or you're trying to reach somebody. That's why you have brand awareness, and that's why you have reach underneath the awareness campaigns. The best way to label that traffic is cold traffic, right? You're trying to get someone to be aware of what it is that you offer or what it is that you're selling. The second way, the second stage is warm. So warm would be right here underneath consideration. So this is where people are already familiar with who you are or some kind of product. They've seen you before, and you're trying to get them to consider doing something with you, taking some call to action or visiting your website, attending some event or to your business, something like that. This is the consideration phase, and this is considered to be warm traffic. This is warm traffic. Underneath consideration, you see six different objectives, and each of them has their own importance and relevance depending upon what it is that you're going to do in your business. Most time when I'm teaching this and I'm showing people how to do Facebook marketing, if they want to get established immediately, I say, hey, just run lead generation campaigns. So you can see down here, this is they give you an option to specifically generate leads. And the cool thing about Facebook marketing and this advertising is each one of these campaigns, Facebook's algorithm optimizes your advertising for that specific thing. So if I want to generate leads, Facebook assets as well as the tools that they give me within that campaign, it's all going to be ideal for lead generation within Facebook's platform, right? If I was looking for traffic to my website, I would click on traffic as an objective, and the Facebook advertising, the Facebook assets that they give me, they're going to be optimized to generate traffic to my website or traffic to a landing page. Same thing with engagement. If I wanted to encourage engagement on a post or something that I've done, I can click the engagement campaign and get engagement on that specific thing. App installs I typically do not touch because we as real estate agents, most times we're not looking for app installs. One of my most favorite of all to establish as a to do, one of my favorite campaigns to do are video views. And I just want to talk about video views for a little bit because when we talk about like the other forms of advertising, video views provides you something that the other forms of advertising does not. And if you do, let's just compare a video with an image. If you do a image, you can kind of only count the impressions that the image had. So you can find out how many times or how many people saw that specific image. Now with video views, it gets a little bit deeper. So you can get impressions, but even further, what you get with video views is you also get the amount of time that a person watched your video. You see? So that becomes it becomes a little bit more powerful than the other forms of media out there. A video view, I always like to use the 60-second example. If I post a video of 60 seconds, there will be some people that watch 3 seconds of my video. There will be some people that watch 10 seconds of my video. There will be some people that watch 25% of my video, 75% of my video, and even up to 100% of my video. Now, what does that say? Those are different interest levels and audiences. So somebody that watched 3 seconds of my video and somebody that watched 90% of my video, those are two very different customers or prospects, right? One is going to be more open to receiving my message than the other. If you watch 90% of my video, that means you understand what it is that I'm offering or what I'm saying in the video and you have the interest, right? However, if you only watch 3 seconds, you might have accidentally clicked on it or you might not have an interest. Maybe I wasn't intriguing to you in some form or fashion. So, video views, I highly recommend that if you're going to be running any kind of advertising, even outside of Facebook, that you consider implementing video content because yes, video is interpersonal. It helps warm up your leads and your audience, but even further, it gives you a lot more analytics and things to track around your marketing and your marketing campaigns. Messages is kind of self-explanatory. You already know what a message is. If you establish a messaging campaign, you'll get people to message you and your business. On the very right, we talked about, so remember, we're talking about the traffic temperatures, and over here you have conversion. And Facebook algorithm, they have an understanding of people that are likely to do business with you. And this would be considered in our traffic, when we're talking about our traffic temperatures, this is hot traffic. So you don't get that availability when you do like Facebook boosting and some of the other just normal posting of content on social media. So over here is hot traffic. In most cases, us as real estate agents, we're going to be searching as real estate agents and real estate investors, we're going to be looking for that conversion traffic. That's what we're going to want. We're going to want people to convert and take us up on our offer or our call to action. All right, so now we're back to the Facebook pixel. I want to touch on that really quickly. I have some bullet points here. A lot of times you hear within our industry or in the digital marketing industry overall, you hear remarketing and retargeting. You hear these terms a lot. And I just want to simplify. I want to break it down really quickly. It's very simple. Remarketing and retargeting is it's not complicated. It's just all you're doing is showing a customer or prospect that has seen your advertising, all you're doing is showing that advertising to them again, right? You're just showing it again. And the Facebook pixel is effective. It plays an influence on allowing you to remarket and retarget people. The way it does that is if someone's visiting your website, you can then target them on Facebook with remarketing and retargeting. So remarketing and retargeting, Facebook pixel is essential to remarketing and retargeting. This is a mistake that a lot of us make. We go out and we advertise, we got websites and we got different assets outside of Facebook, but we don't remarket and retarget correctly because we don't have our Facebook pixel set up. I help teach like different RIAs around the our country too, and some of them just don't have this basic tool set up, and they're like, hey, why am I not getting leads? Why am I not getting conversion? Why am I not getting attendance? It's important that you establish this Facebook pixel when you're running your advertising because you can remarket and retarget. And nobody does business on it's rare that people do business on a first try. There are many statistics around when people take you up on your offer or decide to buy with you, and people don't do business on the first time. It takes multiple times to follow up. So the Facebook pixel is essential to remarketing and retargeting. The second bullet point is I want you to install that pixel ASAP because it's free, and even if you're not using it, you kind of want that pixel to collect the data and the activity that's going on your website. So install that as soon as possible. So when you are thinking about using it in the future, that you have access to data and the type of customer that is already visiting your website or your offer. The Facebook pixel allows Facebook pixel, it allows Facebook to learn your audience, and it just simply put, it helps learn your audience and it helps your ads perform better. People always ask like, how do you install the Facebook pixel? You install it in your header. If you're not a tech person, you should probably give instruction to your tech person or your website admin to install that code in your header. If they are a decent web person, they'll understand exactly how to do it. It's not complicated. However, if you're not, typically there is no right or wrong way per se. You have to install it in your pixel, and it's going to vary with each vendor. And sometimes there are widgets available for you to establish the pixel, and sometimes you can install it manual. So it varies depending upon each vendor. I believe I have four different websites, and they each require like a different way to install that Facebook pixel. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to install your Facebook pixel. It's not all the same. The big mistake, so I touched on this like a little bit, just slightly. Facebook boosting. A lot of people get into Facebook, they're trying to do advertising and they boost their posts. So in a way, boosting is not advertising. You're bringing some awareness to your business or your brand, but I don't like to call boosting advertising or marketing, because there you can be more strategic about your boosting and your advertising. The way you do that is uh, you go into and you utilize the Facebook ad manager. So please try not to make the mistake of boosting posts unless you have a direct immediate plan. Go into and utilize the Facebook ad manager. Okay, so my we're getting too close to the ad sets, and this is probably the part that excites me the most within Facebook advertising, because you can be very specific about who it is that you're trying to target. It is essential that we understand who our customer or prospect is as real estate marketers. A lot of us don't understand who our customer is, and we go out and we shoot out advertising. We're like, hey, this stuff is not working. It's not that it's not working. We have to establish certain parameters around who it is that we want to market and retarget. Um, there's a saying, jack of all trades, master of none. The reason I bring that up is because you identify, or your message is going to identify with a specific avatar. And the more niche and the more specific you can be about that avatar, the better your advertising will be. Facebook ad sets. The Facebook ad sets where you establish who you're going to market to and where you're going to market to them. So um, within the Facebook ad sets you're going to be prompted by Facebook to select your business page. So you're going to select what business page you want to do this advertising on. Next, you have an option of Facebook dynamic creative, and that the dynamic creative is, so remember we mentioned like it's important that you understand who your avatar is. The dynamic creative allows you to target different avatars. So different avatars will like different images. Some people will like images, some people will like videos. Some people will like videos with red in it, some people will like videos with blue in it. It really depends. It gets really complicated, but the dynamic creative allows you to do that. It also allows you to change your messaging. So different people are going to identify with different messaging. Someone like me, for example, I like facts, I like data, I like statistics. I don't want to feel good. You don't have to give me motivation. So I'm going to identify with a different ad than someone that needs motivation, someone that needs to feel good. And the dynamic ad creative allows you to target people differently, considering that information. It's important to understand who your avatar is, who you are targeting. Audiences, these are essentially Facebook collects audiences for you, and these are going to be the people that you're targeting. So remember, we talked about the importance of understanding who your avatar is. We talked about the Facebook pixel, and guess what? If you have the Facebook pixel installed on your website, Facebook will build you a specific audience around people that have specifically visited your website. They can even go as niche as around people that have specifically visited a certain page on your website. So audiences are highly important. Those are external ways to build audiences, but you can also build audiences directly within Facebook. So remember, we talked about videos and video views. You can build an audience of, let's say, if you get into Facebook, there will be a prompt on creating audiences, and it's you can create an audience of people that watch only 3 seconds of your video. You can create an audience of people that only watch 25% of your video. You can create an audience of people that watch 90% of your video. So audiences are important. It's important to understand who it is that you're trying to target, and audiences help gives you clarity on that. Who do I want to target? What are they doing? Where are they? Location is self-explanatory. You can target people just about anywhere in the world that Facebook is available. You can show your advertising to them. Location allows you to do that. Interests, so your avatars have specific interests, and you can be very specific on, hey, I want to target people that are interested in real estate, but they are also interested in gaming, because that's my niche. I like to target real estate investors that play video games, right? That's an example avatar, and that's very specific. However, your messaging will identify with that person a little bit better because you are so focused on that niche and that avatar. Remember, we can't please everybody. So the more niche we are about who our target avatar is, the better our results will be. This is a page, so people generally ask me like, what interest should I select? So this is a page of interest that I've collected over the years doing Facebook advertising. These work very niche and very specific to real estate. Uh, these are available. You can screenshot these, or if you're one of those people that are going to be that's going to download the slides, you can just copy and paste all of these interests from the slides and the link that will be in the description. Really quickly, just to touch on what they are. So you got general real estate interests. These are general real estate interests that people have on Facebook. You got real estate portal interests. So these are the portals that are available on the internet out there, and Facebook understands these portals, so they can target these people that have visited these websites, visited these portals. Lender and mortgage interest, they're self-explanatory. These are people that have lender and mortgage interest. You can also target those people that are looking for cash out refinancing, home equity loans, reverse mortgage, secure loans. These are people that have lender and loan interest, and you can kind of target them with your branding, with your advertising. Last here is no interest. No interest is important because sometimes there is an audience out there, or people that are available out there that haven't even thought about selling their house or buying a house. And if you do no interest, you can kind of collect some of those people that haven't considered these interests that you see above here. So I always recommend that you also, in addition to the very specific real estate interest, that you also run a no interest campaign. And one of my most successful campaigns was because of no interest. I was targeting people that had no interest at all in selling or buying a house. So that's available there. One last thing is, this is a link. So this is a link to a document that is within our digital marketing for real estate training course. That document gives you, let's just open it up so you can see it. This document, it gives you a bunch of free resources and a bunch of free things that you can use in your business. We have a ton of ad copy in here. We have recommended websites, recommended vendors, how to name your goals, your ad sets. We get very specific and very granular on how to implement this into your real estate business. So you can see here, I'm scrolling, you can see here, this is some primary text and ad copy that you can use in your business. uh, these are available. This was available for a very long time for free. However, I have since built a course, and you can get this as part of that course. I also have some Facebook ad images, so I have some image templates in here available for you. All of these things are available whether you are a real estate agent. So you can see here, that's the real estate agent content. Real estate agent, I have content for sellers as well as buyers. These are real estate agents. Custom audiences that you kind of want to choose are available here. We talk about retargeting. We get very specific in there. Um, for my real estate investors, I started originally as a real estate investor, so I also have content there. Let's show you. We have, yeah, so if you're a real estate investor, you come in here and I have some text and copy available for you to use in your marketing and your advertising. So that's all there. Let's go back over to the slide presentation. And so we talked about audiences already. We don't need to stay long on this specific slide. We understand the importance of audiences. I just want to touch on really quickly custom audiences. So a lot of us as business owners, we have been marketing or running some form of advertising. And I like to always bring up custom audiences because there's a way for you to remarket and retarget. Remember what remarketing or retargeting is? There's a way for you to remarket and retarget those people that you have already been in touch with online. So, and that the way you do that is by uploading a list. So, let's say, for example, you work a tax lien list. You can take that list and the data that you pull from that list, and you can upload it directly into Facebook. And you're going to do that through the custom audiences. Again, there's a link here. If you need to click on that link and get your list uploaded, you go ahead, download the slides, and you'll be able to do that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual ad. We're getting close to the end. The actual ad is where this is what your customer or your prospect is going to see, and it's broken up into different parts. There is a text. There's the ad copy version, the text that people see, and there's also like the creative, which is basically the images or the video, the pretty stuff that the customer or prospect will see. So these are some examples that I have available. This is what I use in my business. There are variations. I showed you that document, and within that document, I have some examples. I also have many examples in the course structure. So there are a lot more examples in the course. Uh, Again, the creative is what people see. So when they're advertising, you need to kind of grasp people's attention. You need to jump out and grab their attention. And this can vary. You might be advertising for ugly houses. It's what we call them in real estate, houses that need to be fixed up. That's what we call ugly houses. Or you might be advertising for the prettier houses as a real estate agent. You might be, hey, let me help you sell your house. Either way, you need to have an image that's relevant to your customer and prospect. And these are variations depending on which campaigns I'm running in my business or what hat that I'm wearing in my business. Am I wearing the hat of a real estate agent? Let me help you sell, or am I wearing the hat as a real estate investor? Let me buy your house. So these are ad images. These are examples. And within marketing, marketing is very once you build a marketing system, it's pretty stable. But the getting people into your system, it's pretty active. So I encourage you try different images and you try different ad copy to get people into your funnel. Like the most active part of marketing is that front end, getting people's attention. And you see here, I have some very deliberate like things that pop out on the screen, like these signs. I buy houses. It's bright, very bright. It's got a pretty house behind it, but it's very bright because it catches people's attention. Facebook marketing is what we call disruptive marketing. So you need to disrupt that user's experience. And one of the ways you do that is you throw out a attention grasping headline or an attention grasping image. These are ways that you disrupt the customer's experience and get their attention on your advertising or your offer. Also, down here, you see like I have this bright red house. This ad performs very well when I share it out on social media. This one works well too. Full price for your house. It's yellow. People are like, hey, what do you mean for full price for my house? Let me learn a little bit more about that. So these images, they are highly important to your Facebook advertising. This is what the actual ad will look like. That's what an image will look like. So remember we talked about two parts. This is the ad copy. And again, in that document that I showed you a little bit earlier, I have tons of ad copy available for you. In the course, there is even more. I have over 30 different ad copy prompts that you can put and combine into your Facebook advertising. That's all available. But these are just two versions that I wanted to show you. I have ad copy without emoji because remember, we mentioned sometimes some people are not going to like there are different creatives and different people with different personalities and they're attracted to different things. Some people are not going to like emoji. Some people think they're childish and they won't take you seriously. However, there are some people that will appreciate the emoji and they like it. It's vibrant. It brings, attention and color. So Facebook has it has a sophisticated algorithm, and Facebook will understand who likes emoji, who doesn't like emoji. So that's something you want to consider too. You can mix up your messaging, you can mix up your message using the Facebook ad creative, the dynamic creative, the different things that are available within Facebook. These are just two versions of ad copy that I use in my business, and both of these have worked. Ad hacking. I want to talk about ad hacking, and it sounds fancy what I'm saying about the ad hacking, but essentially what this is you get to see what's already out there working and available. Facebook has their advertising platform is public. So a lot of us don't know that we can go out and kind of see what's already working, or we can model other people's advertising. So Facebook. So Facebook ad hacking, what I'm going to do is there is no link here, but I'm going to provide a link to the Facebook ad library so you can kind of click on this link in the future if you download these ads. It is highly important that you consider and you find out what others are doing. Let me go over to the Facebook ad library for you just so you can get an example of what's available in that ad library. So this is the Facebook ad library, and this is where I'm talking about my fancy ad hacking. You can go in here and you can find out what's working for other people. So in the United States, I can select an ad category. Let's just do housing. And let's search for, so you can see here, I was spying on some competitors and some colleagues. These are different searches that I've recently done. I am going to check out Zillow. Let's see what Zillow is doing for advertising. So I can, do something similar and get people into my funnel, right? So these are all of the this is all of the advertising that's available directly within Zillow. I see here. So I can say, hey, what's working for Zillow? I can come in here and I can model and duplicate some of what they're doing. Now, I don't encourage you to copy any advertising or anything word for word or do exactly what people are doing, but this is inspiration. You come here, you find inspiration. What are they saying? What are they saying to get people into their funnels? Is it working? How is their ad structured? What images are they using in their advertising? That's just one way to kind of do some competitors research and look for things to implement in your business. Blair buys houses. I don't know this person, but I happen to stumble upon this person. I'm like, hey, what is this person doing? Let me find out and model some of their advertising. So this is a way that you can do that using this Facebook ad hack that we have here in this section. So let's go back over to the presentation and let's continue the presentation. So the Facebook ad hacking and the ad library, I will be sure to put a link in here so you can access that ad library directly, or you could always just Google it. It should come right up. This was a statistic. I meant to take this out, but there are 2.85 billion monthly active users on Facebook. Us as real estate investors, real estate agents, we don't need to do business with 2.85 billion people. We only need to do business with, let's just say for simplicity's sake, I only need to do business with one person per month. So I did some math and I did 1% of this 2.85 billion is more than enough people. It's more than enough people that I need to advertise and market to. So consider this. Facebook has a huge database, and there are a lot of people here that are buying and selling houses. People are doing business using Facebook. You just have to make sure that you establish your Facebook marketing and your Facebook business correctly so you can get people into your marketing funnels and get those deals closed. This was a stat that I like to bring up because a lot of people say that Facebook marketing doesn't work, or even overall, like in general, marketing doesn't work. And look, 80% of sales, I found this. It says 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls after the meeting. 44% of sales rep give up after the first follow-up. So in my experience too, I see a lot of agents, they'll run out, or I see a lot of real estate entrepreneurs, they'll say Facebook marketing doesn't work, and they haven't really followed up with these customers and these prospects. Would you do business with somebody? I like to, I have an instructor and kind of a mentor to me. He's like, would you get married to someone on a first date? No, most people won't. So consider your marketing and your advertising the same way. If people don't get married on a first try, you need to remarket, you need to retarget, you need to follow up with these people if you're going to do business with them. Don't expect them to just give you their house or give you business on the first one or two tries. You have to be consistent and follow up. they, it's cliche, but they say a lot in our industry. The fortune is in the follow up. The money is in the follow up. It is important and essential that you follow up with these prospects, these customers. You follow up with these leads. Next, I want to touch on a few points. And this stuff varies. It varies with your market, but these are some of the most common questions, and I want to address these questions. Budget. People always ask me like, what budget should I use? Again, remember we talked about. Look, the most important thing is not it is to have a budget. You need to establish a budget, and if you can only do $10 a day, then that's your budget. But expect $10 a day results. It's essential that you have a budget, though. You go into this with a macro level perspective. Go into this understanding that you're going to spend money and you're going to have a budget and it's going to be consistent. I don't want you to come in into Facebook and expect to get uh you can get leads and you can close deals in, a week, 2 weeks, but for long-term success, you want to establish a budget and you want it running consistently and constantly. Establish a budget. Usually people ask me what I recommend, and I can't necessarily recommend because everybody has different objectives. People have different marketing campaigns. Some people are going after buyers, some people are going after sellers. However, what I do in my business is I run a budget. I'm typically advertising to sellers. When I did buyers, it was a little bit cheaper, and that could fluctuate depending on the market. Right now, we have a seller's market. It might be a buyer's market in a couple of years, and that will vary. But what I often suggest is that people start with a budget of $50 a day. That comes out to $1,500 per month. It might be a lot to some people, but think about it. If you can get one deal on average, a deal is worth $5,000. So if you can spend $1,500 and in marketing and get a deal for $5,000, it is worth every penny. So that's what I recommend. $50 per day. You don't have to stay there. You say, you know what, Jerome, that's too much. I want to try $25 or I'm gonna try $10 or $5. That's okay. Establish the budget that you need to establish for you, but expect those results. Let it work, let it run. The more money you give Facebook, the better they can optimize and find your customer target, avatar, or prospect. However, if you can't afford a high budget or a budget of $50 a day or anything like that, use what you have. Just establish a budget and stay consistent. How long should it take? Until. Do it until you get a lead. Do it until you get a deal. Again, like I said, in my experience and my understanding, a deal is worth $5,000 on average. So if you have to spend $1,500 to get a $5,000 deal, do it. You can't beat that. It's worth it to me. Next thing is we kind of addressed this, but people talk about lead quality, and it's not about the lead quality. It's about you following up. Do you have the proper systems? Are you closing correctly? Are you doing things correctly? Don't blame Facebook for the lead quality. Facebook can only give you what's available, and you have to follow up and you have to be consistent with those leads and those prospects. Facebook is disruptive marketing, so yes, the lead quality is not going to be as great as something like a YouTube or a Google lead who have an intent to buy or sell, right? Facebook is disruptive marketing and you have to follow up with these customers or prospects. Lead quality, this is going to vary. Of course, this varies. How many houses are you in your market? Are you going after buyers or sellers? This all varies. So the lead quantity varies with each market. On average, for me, I spend $50 a day and I generate two leads per day, two seller leads per day, and I don't know what that math is, but that's the lead quantity that I get. I get two leads per day based on $50 a day, about two point something. So lead quality will vary. Some people will be in very specific counties that don't have enough houses or that do have enough houses. Lead quantity will vary. However, within Facebook, you get to see, hey, when you're running the Facebook advertising, when you're in that platform, they show you what you should expect with your lead quantity. How soon can I expect leads is what I often get. And if you run advertising, if you run marketing correctly, if you set up all your assets, your Facebook assets correctly, I have received leads in as little as an hour. So it depends on what your market is and how you set up your ads correctly. Again, if you need to set this stuff up correctly, I have a course available. I'll post a link in the description. But typically, you should expect leads that very same week. I've gotten leads in less than an hour, but that will vary depending on your market. There is no hard and fast rule on, when the leads will come in and how they'll come in. So how soon can you expect leads? That varies. However, I would say expect leads within the week compared to other forms of marketing like, I don't know, direct mail and, some of those other things. ROI, you heard me mention a few numbers before. I don't know what the percentage is, but typically I am happy with if I'm spending $1,500 per month, right? If I'm spending that much per month and I'm getting one deal that's like a 200 or maybe 300 or 250% ROI, that's what my ROI is. We are in real estate. This is a high ticket item. So typically for the few hundreds that we're investing in Facebook, we're getting thousands in return. So whatever your numbers will vary, but think about it like a business. You spend a few hundred to get a few thousand out of it. It's worth every penny. The ROI will vary. It will depend on your closing ability. It will depend on, what state the customer is in. Can they buy now? Can they sell now? That all depends. So the ROI is kind of a moving target. It will vary depending on the person, the system, how they set up their stuff correctly. So it varies, but it's there. Try to think about it long term. If I spend a few hundred and I can get a few thousand out, it's worth every penny, right? My final comments are Facebook marketing works. It works just like all other marketing methods. Follow up and run it like a business. Run Facebook like a business. I understand that it's social media and you might not take it seriously. However, if you take it seriously, you can do some great things with Facebook and you can get a lot of business from Facebook. One thing I want to talk about, you're a real estate investor, you're a real estate agent, you're a real estate entrepreneur. Invest in yourself, invest in your business. Don't be afraid to invest some money into Facebook marketing and Facebook advertising. Don't expect everything to happen within the week. Put people in your pipeline 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. It's okay. That marketing, that's marketing. Follow up. Be willing to invest in your business. Usually I'm teaching this on a to a group and I take questions. However, in this instance, I've done a monologue. So if you have questions, do me a favor and leave questions below. Let me know what you want to learn about specifically. We're talking about Facebook marketing here, but we can talk about almost d- different versions of digital marketing and marketing within your business. Uh, if you want these slides, there will be a link in the description. You can access the slides using that link. This is my contact information. You can see here. I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. I know some people find it hard to believe because of the presentations I do and how I talk and train, but I'm an introvert. So if you want to have a conversation with me, please be respectful and send me a text message so we can schedule something. This is all my contact information. You can email me at right here, Jerome at lewisinvest.com. My website is digitalrealestatestrategy.com. And I also have a new website, which is jeromelewis.com. By the time I update these slides, that will be there. And you're probably viewing this on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel. If you're watching this and you found value, please give me a subscribe. I would really appreciate that. It goes a long way. Go out there and digitize your business. I appreciate you coming. And one more thing I want to talk about. So I mentioned that course that I have available. If you want even more detail, even more resources, I have a course available. You can access that course. It There will be a link to the course in the description of the video, but this course gets even more granular and more specific. I give you ad copy, I give you templates, advertising, just about everything you need to run a successful Facebook marketing campaign. This is available. At the time of this video, we have 1 day until the price increases. At the time of this video, the course is only $37. But again, I've charged $997 for this course in the past. In the future, I am going to the price is going to raise as I add more value and I pack it with more content and information for you to be successful in business. The price will raise. So if you're watching this and you find, hey, I want to do Facebook marketing, Facebook advertising in my business, go purchase the course now because it will keep going up in price. And if you want to get in early, pay it's $37 now, but it will continue to rise in price. So all you got to do to access this is you visit go.digitalrealestatestrategy.com, or what you can do is if you download these slides, this you will be able to click this link and this link will take you to the course. Okay? So my final words are I thank you. I appreciate you for watching through to the end. My name is Jerome Lewis. You can learn more about me by visiting jeromelewis.com. Uh, the slides, if you need the slides and you need the document, you need access to all of those things, this will be available in the description. Again, I appreciate you watching and I will see you on the inside. Bye bye.